Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to Talks with Tanya. Come on in. As I say, come on in the room. Come on in the room. We have an amazing guest. I am so fortunate. I am so fortunate. I am so grateful to God that, just the connections that, have been placed before me have allowed me to interact with some amazing people and to be able to share them with you. Hey, good morning, Precious. I just said, come on in the room, come on in the room, and I thought about you. And there you are. Welcome to Talks with Tanya. My name is, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Tanya Bain, and I am the founder and CEO of Tanya Inspires. And what we do at Tanya Inspires is we're about educating, informing, impacting, and connecting by sharing information that builds bridges to heal lives and leads to whole life success. And what I mean by whole life success is that we are able to connect people to share information with you that can touch your mind, your body, your spirit, your soul, your pocketbook, everything that encompasses you being able to be your very best self. And I'm just really grateful to be able to use this platform in order to do that. So I want you to, I'm just going to look here and make sure, because you know how it goes when you're doing the online space. You got to make sure that things are in order. Yes, I'm on. I am on. All right, all right. I want to make sure that you share. Go ahead and share this out. This is going to be a wonderful morning. And invite. All right, because you never know who might need a word. All right, and that is a Precious Brownism that I learned from that amazing coach Pressure, who's out in Las Vegas just doing it. Congratulations to you, Precious. All right, so let's breathe. Let's breathe. So much has happened or has been happening over the past several months, and welcome July. We're already into July, and I have learned so much and have been exposed to so much, just like each and every one of you. And there are not very many conversations that I have that the issue doesn't come up about, well, how are you doing? How are you really doing? Because initially, as a result of COVID 19, we were shut down, and I was speaking to someone that said, the earth was placed on pause. The earth was placed on pause, and I just love that description because it truly was. Um, it's like we've had this opportunity to slow down, and how people have received it and managed it has been very different. It really depends on the purpose and or the place where they are and what their responsibilities are and have been. And I know that personally, I have lost family members, and friends, and still walking through recovery and finding out that more and more people are infected or had been infected and didn't need to didn't even have any idea. And the controversy around just COVID-19 and the disproportional impact of that in our communities and in my community, in my home, in my family, and my friends. It's just been like a tsunami. It has shut us down. But I believe God, okay? And God's got it. And all of the things that have happened are not a mistake. I'm very grateful for our frontline fighters that have been out there, and it calmed down for a little bit. And now, we're back on the rise. I want to encourage each and every one of us to use wisdom. Use wisdom. All right. Because this is your life. This is the life of those that you love. So make sure that you use wisdom and follow the rules. Okay. I'm a rule breaker. I try and bend rules. And those of you who know me, I'm looking for the bend. Uh, I'm looking for the bend so that we can change. But it's just very important that we do that. I have, and even within my family, we did a family Zoom a couple of weeks ago, and I was devastated actually, in that there were some family members who were not following the rules, and didn't take it as seriously as it needed to be, and I got called a few names, but that's okay. If it means saving your life or the life of someone that you love or know, call me a name. But it's so important. I can't highlight that. Let's go back to the basics. Let's understand it. And as we begin our re-entry, because some of us are beginning to re-enter, not everybody by choice, some of us by choice, others by necessity. Make sure you insist on getting everything that you need so that you can be safe and so that your families can be safe as well. I cannot stress that enough. And then as we pivot, just a little bit as kind of the tsunami continues, when we look at the George Floyd incident, and Breonna Taylor. And these are not new. I've said this before. This is nothing new. It doesn't make it any less devastating, but these things are not new. Now that the awakening is, beginning to happen, it is time. That was dropped in my spirit months ago, and now I'm beginning to see that pop up in so many different ways. Good morning, Evelyn. Good morning, Miss B. Good morning. Great show you had the other day. I really want to, Miss B, while you're here, I really want to share some of those guests so that we can get our friends up here on the East Coast exposed to some of your guests that are amazing as well. I love my sister in the media, and a mentor as well, B. Baylor, an amazing feisty, sexy coach. Go ahead. And these are the kinds of things, that happen and how we become together. That being said, I want us, today's show for me is about it is time. So, with everything that is going on, we really need to care for all of those parts of what makes us whole. And one of the things that I have always loved is music. It has been a place of respite for me. And though my particular talents in the music genre, haven't manifested in the way that my parents probably wanted it to. it certainly created a love and understanding for music. I won't take it personal when I've been invited to the back row of the choir. Um, and I found my instrument, my tambourine, so I could whip a mean tambourine, and that is music too. But when it comes to self care, when it comes to self care, it is so important. And because music moves me, I thought that I could just share, um, the music, this talented young woman that I'm just going to bring her on up here. Um, Rosa House, Rose Petals. Welcome,
Hi.
welcome to Talks with Tanya.
Hi,
Rosa,
Tanya.
welcome.
Thank you
This
so much for
is
having me.
oh my goodness. And for my guests, the past couple of weeks, I'm gonna say I've had some pretty heavy guests when we talk about the issues at hand, in our community, and that we need to keep talking about it. Just because you stop posting about it doesn't mean that the issues have stopped. But in order for us to really care for our whole selves, I thought it was important for us to really look at another gift that we have been given, and that of music. I remember waking up as a child. My dad, he worked several jobs, but he worked this particular night job. And I knew he was up because he played classical music. All right, he played classical music on the radio. So that really, so I grew up with salsa, okay, and symphonies, salsa and symphonies. Wait a
I
minute.
love it.
Oh, we got to show that salsa and symphonies. Okay, thank you, Lord. And that was my exposure. So I'm a little bit of both. Okay, a little salsa, a little symphony. And our guest, Rosa, is amazing. I'm going to share with you that yesterday, my granddaughter Maya is here visiting with me. And so I am a big proponent of exposure for our young people. And she wasn't, real excited about, taking a virtual piano lesson, but she did. And she loved it. She loved it in spite of Tata. It was my idea. She loved it. Okay, she was taking notes and participating, and thanks to a great friend, we're going to have the opportunity to borrow a keyboard, and we'll be continuing our online lessons. So you never
Yes.
know. The
Mm.
kids are always like,
Nah.
did you have that face or what? It was probably the
You sure
exact face.
did. Oh,
The
I just
exact
knew it.
face. Okay,
She's
that's
like,
how
my
I was.
grandmother's making me do this.
Yes, you did. But you guys want to keep that in mind. But Rosa, I want you to tell us about yourself, your background, and what brought you to this space.
Wow. So, for your viewers, my name is Rosa House. I go by the name of Rose Petals, Pedals, like the pedals of the piano. That's my stage name, if you will. And I'm originally from New York. I've been playing the piano. I know, right? New York in the building. I've been playing the piano since I was 6. I'm classically trained. My first teacher was my mother, who was also a musician and a vocalist. And so I spent most of my adolescent life playing the piano and, learning how to read music. taking that discipline and, transferring it over to my studies, which also was beneficial to me. I was always the top third of my class all throughout my academic career. And so I started doing all of that, playing in church, of course. I'm a church girl. And playing, singing, doing that, doing music house, doing recitals. And then my life took a turn in a different direction. When I was 16, I became pregnant. And so I had my son, Darren, who is everything to me at 16, but it forced me to put my musical aspirations on hold because I had to focus on being a mom and graduating high school and going on from there, college and all of those things, which I eventually did do. And so I never really lost the desire to play the piano. I've always loved music. I've always, been in the state of mind of compositions, like, because I also compose. I've never lost that desire. But, when you're a parent, priorities come up. And, I wanted my son to have a different life other than, what the statistics would have shown him. I wanted him to go to college. I wanted him to pursue his dreams. And so I took the time to do that. And he did. He graduated college. He graduated York College of Pennsylvania with a degree in mass communications, minor in film editing. So he does the films. Yep. I got my degree. So, priority set, boxes checked, everything good. When he graduated from college, it was like, okay, now what? Because I still had this big question mark and this longing to get back into it. But I'm older now, I hadn't touched music or the piano in years, hadn't looked at sheet music. And I was just like, man, if I go ahead and do this, I'm gonna have to start from scratch, because I've never looked at this stuff before. So I did. And I want to say 2014, I went back and I had a chance meeting with a woman who later on became my mentor. Her name is Anita Short. And I was actually running a polling site because I volunteer to, teach people how to vote. I've done it for years, arrange for cars for senior citizens to come and pick them up, to go to the polling sites, everything. And I was running a polling site and she was there with friends. I overheard her talking about how she gives piano lessons and vocal lessons. And I'm thinking, is this a chance? Like, is this like a sign? Right? So I walked up to her and I introduced myself and I said, I used to be so passionate about playing the piano. I did at one time know how to read music, but it has been such a long time, but I still want to do it. It had been a full year before I had called her back when she gave me her number, 1 year. And I finally called her back. It was in 2015. I called her back, made a lesson with her. We had 2 lessons and figured out that it was like riding a bicycle for me. Like as soon as she put like a staff in front of me, I was just like, okay, I remember the sentence. Oh, I remember that. Like, it was just like one thing after the other. I had I was supposed to take my 3rd lesson with her and I had to cancel because my mom was in the hospital. And I remember being on the turnpike calling her to say, my mom's been in the hospital. I'm on my way back home. I'm going to have to reschedule this appointment. And her being a woman of God, she prayed for me. And so we said this amazing prayer. I've never been able to forget it, canceling out all assignments. Like I've never heard a person pray like this before. And I grew up in the church. And she said this amazing prayer. I'm on my way to New York. Unfortunately, my mother passed away the next day. So I never got a chance to tell her that I went back to playing, something that she and I shared together, I never got a chance to tell her that. And so when she passed away, my want to play the piano, it waned a little bit because I wasn't able to share that with her. And then I came to find that in the middle of the night, when I was at my lowest point over her being gone, getting up and going into the music room was the only thing that gave me comfort. And so I just kept going. I kept going. I kept doing it. My music teacher at the time, who, again, like I said, was my mentor, Miss Short, she would not let me let it go. She would not let me let it go. She kept pushing me She kept telling me that she never had an adult student go this far with her. Like, and everything she put in front of me, I just whipped through it, because I could lose myself in the music.
Yeah.
And, and the challenge of the music too, because again, remember, I'm reteaching myself those things that I used to know when I was younger. And so, um, go from there, she recommended that, she pretty much said that my time with her had expired, that I was ready to move on, you know, and she and I found other options. I went to study under another instructor. Her name is Ethel Olson. She works at the Delaware Music School, the Music School of Delaware, rather. And I went to her and I said, well, listen, I already know how to read, I already know how to play, but I still feel disconnected from the music.
Mm-hmm.
So she taught me about technique. She taught me about, how to have flair when you play, how to bring the theatrics, because it's a show and you're telling a story, and her whole plan was to get me on the stage. Now, mind you, Tanya, that was not my plan.
It typically isn't. This wasn't my plan either. So.
I said, no. I just want to keep playing because it soothes my heart. It makes me feel closer to my mom. I'm satisfied with that. She was like, you belong on the stage. And what she did for me was she put me in like a student type achievement week type of like scenario. Never done anything like this before in my life. And mind you, I'm 45 years old. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm walking through the hallways and there's a bunch of kids. And I'm just like, isn't this for children? Why are you asking me to do this? So I get there and instead of an audience, it's a panel of other music teachers, quite acclaimed, traveling all over the world, have been playing for 30, 40 years in front of like the best of the best. And this is who I'm playing my little, when I thought then, 1-2 buckle my shoe song in front of. And I did. I went up there with confidence. It was on my father's birthday. I'll never forget it. I went up there with confidence. I played. I was dressed to the nines, because one thing my mom always taught me, show up prepared. So I was dressed to the nines. I had a nice beat. Hair was done. And I got up there and I did my thing. Well, I left and my music teacher came back to get me. And she's like, you know what, Rosa, I want you to come back in. And I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. So I go back in and these three women were like, oh my God, like that was amazing. They're like, how long have you been playing? They had all these questions for me. And Ethel was like, that never happens. Like, and so they not only invited me on the spot to play in their summer recital, but they also gave me honors right on the spot. I got like a little certificate, honors. Like I wasn't expecting any of that. And so I was like, oh my God, like that's such a confirmation. As
Yes.
nervous as I was, I liked it. I was like, I like being on stage.
I love the discovery. I
I
love
really
the
did. I was like,
discovery.
oh my God, this is not that bad. I mean, don't get me wrong, I was really nervous. But when I got on the stage, I was like, I so belong here. Like, there was not without a doubt. So from there,
Mm-hmm.
I just started, performing at different places. I do accompaniment. I did for the Wilmington High School Alumni Choir, accompanied them for 2 years. I played for Seeds of Greatness Bible Church, their Christmas. I did that for 3 years, actually. And so it just like the more I performed, the stronger I got, the more I
Yes.
wanted, like, the more I wanted to be seen, kind of, the more I wanted to share my gifts, more importantly, because, you know, by, right, I'm really not, a camera kind of person. I mean, I like being behind the scenes. I like being in the back. So to be in up front, it's like, oh, it's so unnerving. But it has been an amazing journey for me and I'm loving every single minute of it right now. I'm just like, I couldn't see myself doing anything else.
I just love how when we least expect it, and often in the midst of another trial,
Mm-hmm.
okay, in the midst of another trial, it's like, like one door closes, another door opens.
Yes, absolutely.
And here you are, with your, and I understand, losing a mom. I really do. But I'll tell you, each and every day, I become more and more like her.
For me, Tanya, I look just like her. So, apart
Love
from
it.
growing up hearing little Cheryl, now I'm doing this. My aunt called me the other day after watching one of my videos, and she was like, "Oh my God, you're Cheryl." Like, just your mannerisms, everything changes, right?
Yes. Absolutely, because it's like all of a sudden, and this happens, I talk to her all the time. I mean, like
Mhm.
all the
Every
time,
day.
because I feel that presence. I know that presence, and
Yeah.
it's like I even listen better now. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, okay, like
Mhm.
I'm not fussing with you because you're watching. I know you're watching my every move, but it's the embodiment.
Yes.
Okay, so
That's a
she
great word
knows,
to describe it.
she knows. She's just like, woo, let me
Yeah.
be in your fingers. Let me be in your fingers. So look, this is what I want to do. Can you, because you're here and you have that keyboard, can you play a little something, something for us?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Just give me a second to hook myself up
Okay.
here.
This is amazing for the first
Um,
time, ladies and gentlemen, live on Talks with
this
Tanya.
song I love to play. It's "Hello Finds Out," and the reason I love to play it so much is because it has a deep, moody kind of feel to it, um, and it just kind of takes your emotions in different places. At least it does for me.
Wonderful.
So I'm gonna play a little bit for you.
All right, let me just get me. I don't need to be big. I need to get, you know what? I'm going to go out. Let me go down here. Oh, no, no, no. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. This is amazing. Ah, look at that, live on Talks with Tanya. Rosa Petals. Yes. So, Rosa, something that you've done, and I think I think it's so amazing that you have done this. You have established the Cash Legacy Foundation. Um,
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
So, the Cash Legacy Foundation is a nonprofit organization that I established in the honor of my mom. Cash is actually an acronym for her name, Cheryl Ann Sampson House. So, when she was alive, she was, like I mentioned earlier, a musician. She played the piano every day, all day. She wrote music, she sang, but she was also an educator. And I grew up in a housing development in New York, Edenwald Projects. And there are a lot of adults today that have her to thank for even the ability to read and write. Because although she was not officially certified as a teacher, The administration loved what she did with the kids so much that they allowed her to come into the classroom for several hours a day to tutor kids and teach them how to read and write. So she did that for years, her whole life, her whole adult life. She was always very connected to making sure that children saw the abilities that they had. You know, even if a young child was in the choir and they couldn't sing, she would work with them enough to make them feel like they could sing and do a solo. Like, I mean, and this is what she did. Like, she was so passionate about it, so connected to it. Like, she just wanted kids to believe that regardless of your circumstances, you can still move in your dreams. You can still accomplish things if you're willing to work hard, because that's the foundation. If you're not willing to work hard, if you're not willing to commit, then don't expect to yield certain results.
Mm.
So that was her mission, really, while she was alive, when she had the, you know, energy and the ability to do that before she got sick. And so when she died, there was a part of me that was really sad about the fact that this amazing person wasn't as known. And, you know, the Bible talks about honoring your parents when they're alive.
Mm.
And I had to go through a whole situation of within myself, like, did I really honor her like I should have when she was here? And so
Understand.
I was looking for things to do, you know, to make that thought go away. And God kept telling me, you know, start a nonprofit in her name. Now, I knew this was God because I would never volunteer to do this. I'm a board director on another board. I am a board president on two boards right now. So I know what it takes to run a nonprofit, and it is not easy. It is a very difficult task, especially doing it for something that's close to your heart. But it stayed with me for 5 years, almost 5 years. It wouldn't go away. And I said, you know what? It's not like I can't do it, you know? And so I started with conversations from Howard University, which is my mother's alum. She used to go there. She studied theater and music. And I called them and I said, you know, I want to give scholarships away. How do I do that? And they connected me to their department that talks about endowment funds.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a 3-hour conversation with an amazing gentleman there who also lost his mother. And we talked about everything. Long story short, we are going to begin an endowment fund at Howard University. So that's one layer of it. Yep. I have to raise the money to do it. And that's why the fund is here. But that's one layer of it. And what I want to do is I want to give scholarships away to high school and college students that are studying music education and related studies.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So one layer of it is the endowment fund in my mother's name at Howard University. The other layer of it is, you know, the high school scholarships that we'll be developing in terms of book scholarships, in terms of, you know, use the books, you know, in the art, used books for the arts in schools, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's so many different streams to this, but it's new. It's a new organization, and I'm building it from grassroots. But the motivation is to be able to send kids to school, because if she was here, that's what she would want to do. She would want for children to reach for the stars in terms of their education. She would want for them to believe that they can do whatever they put their minds to, regardless of the circumstances they live in. And so that's the backbone for the Cash Legacy Foundation. This T-shirt I'm wearing, actually, that says Rose Petals, you can visit my website and purchase one on sale for $25, and all of the proceeds go to my organization. Or you can visit my website and make a donation, www.iamrosepetals.com.
Yes, and I am going to be see this. This is why I really like this platform because you can put that information on there. Let me take it off the ticker. Well, it's going to be in the page. It's going to be in the page. Let's just talk a little bit more, okay, my busy young lady over here, about some of the other things that you do as well.
Yeah, so
Cover Classic Wednesdays.
yes, Cover Classic Wednesdays. So Cover Classic Wednesdays, I created this last year. And basically, it was just something that I would put up my Instagram graphic, and behind it, I would do a video of my favorite classic songs, whether they were Bryan Adams, Billy Joel, Brian McKnight, whatever classic song I wanted to play, I would just put that video up. So this year, I met with an amazing woman, Focus James from the Focus of Love. And she is my business coach. And she was telling me right from the gate, first meeting, you need to go live. And I was just like, live? No. I don't want to do that. And she's like, yeah, you got to do that. And other people had said that, but they didn't force me. So I was like, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Okay. But she was like, you got to go live. So we worked together to, make my platform virtual and do this whole live situation. So I did my first Cover Classic Live the first Wednesday in June. And it's interesting, the song I just played for you, Hello, that was one of the songs that I played. My feature was Adele that night. So every Cover Classic
Oh,
Wednesday has
yes.
a different theme. I've done Brian McKnight. Instead of the Verses effect with Jill Scott and Erykah Badu, I did the Rose Petals effect. you know, so each Wednesday has a different theme. So I did the live. I was terrified. Only did it on Instagram Live. And then from there, when it was over, I was like, you know what? This isn't half bad. Like, I think I can do this. So we then moved the platform from Instagram to Facebook too. Well, we combined them. So it's now Facebook and Instagram. So every Wednesday night at 8 p.m., you can log on to my page and see me on Facebook or Instagram doing live classics.
I love it, and I've looked at, and you're also on YouTube as
I
well.
am. I have a YouTube channel as well. And on YouTube, I play full versions of the songs because usually during the Cover Classic Wednesdays, I only do medleys. I don't own the rights to these songs and I don't want to get shut down. So I only do medley of the songs together. But because I compose, I build really colorful transitions, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. And I post the live replay of that on YouTube so that anyone who missed it can watch it.
Yes, yes, yes. And we're going to be working on broadcasting Cover Classic Wednesdays live
Yes.
on Tanya Inspired.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. I love music, and I think with all of the cutbacks in the school in the arts, that made a huge difference for
Yeah.
me. The arts, made a huge difference for me. I know personally in my family, I come from a musical family, and they're actually talented. My mother was a singer.
Wow.
Okay. Yes. And I
You love
remember.
that, Tanya.
I know,
I learn
right?
musical facts about you all the time.
All the musical facts. Right. Now that I have a keyboard, I might have to take a lesson or two. But we'll
Okay.
talk about that. But yes, and it was the same thing. She had put off her singing and so forth. I mean, she always sang to us, and she had an amazing soprano voice, and my uncles, my family, they had a salsa band. Okay,
Wow.
so yeah, and that's where I got my tambourine
You know
playing
what?
from.
You know what, Tanya? I gotta tell your viewers, okay? She's always trying to convince me she's not an artist, okay? But we're gonna have a little thing with Tanya playing the keyboard one day. Y'all wait and see. Look at her face. I'm telling you, I'm gonna bring it out of you. I know I can.
And you know what? You can, because you made Maya happy, okay, and excited. So, there might be hope for me. But it's so important. I mean, just look at the joy that we have. And with, like I said earlier, everything going on, I just want my viewers to stay focused on finding ways. Okay, finding ways to find that joy. That self-care, it's more than about doing, your nails and your toes and
Absolutely.
that kind of stuff. I mean, that's nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Got to find a different way to do it nowadays for me personally. But you want to find that which brings you peace.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
And as
Yeah.
I watch you play, and as I watch you talk about it, I see that, you know.
Definitely.
And you know, I like to share with my viewers and my guests that it's so important to find how it is that you connect.
Yes. Definitely.
How it is that you connect. So
Mm-hmm.
I want you to tell us about your upcoming events as well.
Yes. Okay. Whew, what am I not doing? Okay. So
I know, right?
later on this evening, actually, I will be playing for a 24-hour love marathon called Love Makes America Great Day, excuse me. At 6 o'clock from 6:30, you'll be able to join and learn more about me. You get to ask a lot of really great questions about, how I got on this rose petals journey, and I will also be performing as well. So it's going through live Facebook. So it is.
Uh-huh.
Oh my goodness, I wish I could remember the link.
That's
But
okay. We'll just drop it. We'll just drop it
okay,
in the
okay, great.
yeah, we'll just drop it in the on the page later. Okay.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so yeah, I'll be
Yeah.
doing that later on tonight at 6 o'clock. And then also, of course, you can all join me on every Wednesday night on Facebook and Instagram at 8 p.m. for Cover Classic Wednesdays. This coming Wednesday, we're going to be doing movie soundtracks.
Ah,
So yeah, last Wednesday we did gospel. We did I Love Gospel. That was
I
like
saw
near and
that.
dear to my
Yeah.
heart.
Yeah.
But we're gonna be doing a few songs from different like movies that are out there. So that should be a lot of fun. And then finally, I have an event on July 11th. This one is very close to my heart too. It's a year and a half in the making. It's called the Night Out with Rose Petals. It was originally supposed to take place in April, but because of COVID-19, we had to push it back. And so this night is sort of like my unofficial coming out. It's an exclusive listening party. Um, there have been invitations that have gone out to those individuals who will join us in person, but we've added a live stream option to it too. So much in the way that you can view me for Cover Classic Wednesdays, you can do the same thing for this event. It's July 11th, 7 p.m. I'm going to have some guests performing with me as well. Like, it's going to be so much fun. I'm looking forward to it.
This is amazing. You
Yeah.
know, people, we need to, like I said, I can't stress that enough. We need to be able to decompress.
Yes.
Okay. And music is um, part of our legacy.
Hmm.
It's what we have been, given. It's our heredity.
Yeah.
Okay, it's part of our heritage. When we as people of color, ended up here, breathe.
Well,
We brought our musical talents with us,
right.
and as a result of that, America changed.
Hmm.
Okay,
Culture.
America changed. It changed the culture
It
so
did.
much so that that people have stolen
Hmm.
our music, from us. That's why it's so important that, as musicians and as artists, it's important that you take um, all of the legal steps, okay,
Hmm.
to protect your artistry, that which is yours, all right, that which is yours. That becomes more and more important. And actually, I'm going to have on real soon an attorney, okay, talking about some different topics about how, we need to protect ourselves, prepare ourselves, and, just the different areas that
Hmm.
we need to watch out for and
So
be prepared
important.
for. Yes, yes,
So
yes. So yeah, Donna Pugh, shout out.
important.
Uh, But again, I think that's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So we have let me get it right. We have Cover Classic Wednesdays, okay, 8 p.m. Live on Instagram and Facebook, and soon to be coming to Tanya Inspires. We
Yes.
have July the 11th, a night out with Rose Petals. Yes, amazing, amazing. If you need a tambourine player, I'm available.
I told you I got a spot for you, Tanya. I told you.
Button up now, because I'm so shy.
Listen, I got a spot for you whenever you're ready, sis.
All right, tonight at 6 p.m., you'll be able to find Love Makes America Great. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and drop that, subsequently in the chat. And then I want to, yeah. Hey, Tara, how are you?
Hi, Tara.
Oh my God, another beautiful spirit.
Yes.
I'm so fortunate. I'm just, just the interactions and the people that I've been able to meet. And let us not forget the Cash Legacy Foundation. All right. And all of this information is going to be, I'll make sure that I summarize it all on the post for us, coming up. And tell us about your online lessons now.
Yes. Oh my goodness. So I always gave lessons face to face, in the real world before COVID. This is what we did. But I had to get past the learning curve for the virtual lessons as well. And I had you to thank actually for that, Tanya, for pushing me to do that because I just was like, what? Oh, yes, you. Because I don't know about you guys out there, but the whole virtual experience, it is a lot to get used to, it's a lot and it's more so to create an experience that still feels as close to being in front of a person as possible. And sometimes the obstacles of sound and audio and things of that nature can impede your ability to do that. But thankfully, I've overcome those. So I'm able to give virtual lessons now, which I'm so happy about because I really miss doing it. And so I do give virtual lessons. I teach people how to read music. I teach people how to play the piano. Depending on your skill level, you can be a young child, an adult, never had looked at music or had some ability and kind of left it alone. Whatever level you're on, I can get you to where you need to be. So.
Yes, yes. And we tried it out here yesterday, and that
was so much fun. Oh my God, Maya was awesome.
Oh, of course. There goes that chime. I'm having so much fun. I am having so much.
And you could tell by the look of her face, she didn't want to admit it. It was like, I'm having fun, but I don't want to. But she was so adorable, though. She was.
Yes. And it's so important. Just as, and I think of the parents that are out there now that have, children at home, or even during the school year, because how school is handled is going to be a little bit different as it is necessary. And in some places, the inability to gather or, how you gather will change. But music is
it's fluid.
It's so important.
Yes.
I say, after the next, in the next 40 years, when I make my transition over to the other side, I am going to be in the angelic choir. But it is in your soul. Okay. Yeah. I love to dance. That's, because I love music, because I understand music, because I understand the composition of music, and it flows with us, And it's not easy to be able to understand it like you do, to
Mm,
the point where you can teach it.
yeah. It takes a lot. It takes a lot of discipline. It takes a lot of focus, which is why the arts is so important in schools. I don't, I wonder sometimes if a person that does not have a musician background can really communicate that as effectively. Because the same kind of focus and discipline you need to learn music theory is the same kind of focus that you would need to study your courses and be able to excel. As I mentioned earlier, in the interview, I actually have been always honors, top third of my class all throughout my entire life, from kindergarten to college. And I have music to thank for that. Even in the moments when I wasn't playing the piano, I still had that focus, I still had the discipline. So it's really important to be able to implement that, and not just in a child's life, but as adults too, because we get
Mhm.
very frazzled. We get caught up in life, you know? And to be able to have that one thing that you can focus on, it definitely translates into other levels of your life. So
Mhm.
music is very important for that reason.
It is. There's more to it. There really is. It's how your mind, shifts
Yeah.
and receives, and it soothes.
Yes, absolutely.
Music is medicine.
Absolutely.
Music is medicine.
Hmm.
And I believe that we have kind of lost a footing a little bit in that. You
I
know,
agree.
music heals.
Yeah.
There is, it is, and that's been my experience. I've seen the impact of music on people, on seniors, on
Hmm.
animals.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
When my mom was in the rehab center, we would play music, and it would
Mm,
just make such a difference. As a
yeah.
matter of fact, I'm going to tell you, I was in New York in February, and we visited one of my aunts who has since gone home.
Hmm.
And She was pretty much non responsive. I mean, she could move around, but we played some music, and I'm going to tell you, it woke her up.
Hmm.
Okay. To the point where she was, going like this and singing,
Oh, see.
singing.
Hmm.
Okay, so there is the power of music is deep.
Yes, very much
It is
so. Very
very
much.
deep. And what you're able to, I appreciate you so much, because what you're able to bring to us is important. I mean, if you look back even historically, and
Mhm.
there were always musicians being brought to war. Okay,
Always.
why?
Hmm.
I wonder why that is. Okay.
Motivations, uplifting, they're getting ready to fight. I mean, it really is something that is implanted in your soul when you feel down or when you feel upbeat even. Like, I mean, it just takes you to another level in your thinking, in your actions. And, I love music. Everything about music uh, is everything for me. The way
It,
music is written. When I was a little girl, my dad had like a million records and 45s. Both of my parents were musicians, and but my father played horns. And so he on Saturdays used to take every album out and put it in the living room. The living room would be stacked up with records. And while he's playing them, I was that kid that used to read the jackets.
yeah.
So I would be reading Rod Temperton. I would be reading Quincy Jones. I would be reading Hall and Oates. Like I would be reading all those different people, and that's what got me. Like who was behind the scenes? Greg Gaines. Like who was behind the scenes making Off the Wall? Who was behind the scenes making,
Yes.
you know, all these different stuff? Who made Mahogany? Like who made the soundtrack to that? You know what I mean? Those are the kinds of things that would entice my interest. You know. So.
It is. It is. There's so much more to it. There is a beautiful complexity and like this depth,
Yes.
and it fires up your mind in a different way.
Mm,
It
def-
fires up your mind in a different way. And we're talking about this, and music is a way to express.
Mm-hmm.
Music is an expression where I use my speaking voice. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to say this. This just came to me. I do have a melodic tone to
Got
my
it.
to my
Yeah,
voice.
you do.
You just said it's a little difficult to put it in a song, but I know that, and I know the impact of being able to fluctuate tone. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
in being able to do that. So music is everything, and quiet as it's kept, music is math.
Yes, it is. Music is very much math. When you're talking about time signatures and like, oh yeah, there's a
Hmm.
lot of math
Hmm.
involved.
Exactly, exactly, and rhythm. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's just the just the clap that
Yeah,
is really entrenched entrenched in our DNA, to the point that we can't help it. There's
yeah,
sometimes I don't even know it, and I'm listening to something, and I'm like, the movement,
yeah.
moves your soul. So
Mm-hmm.
can you tell I'm a
Oh, I know you are. That's why I said I'm gonna make a musician out of you. Okay.
okay. Watch out, world. Watch out, world. I cannot thank you enough, Rosa. And I'm going to say this to you. It's happened. It's happened quite a bit to me this week. There's something more for us, and it's not necessarily what I'm going to be doing with you, from a musical perspective. But you have so much to give. I want to encourage our viewers to reach out to you,
Absolutely.
to provide the services that you do. If you are having an event online, you can have a little music right in there.
Sure
Okay,
can.
thank you. Okay,
I just
just know
I
it's
just did a
there.
virtual dance party. So
A
if you
bird, come on, come on.
oh yeah.
We've
Mm-hmm.
had to get creative. All
Mm-hmm.
right. And what better way to bring, the passion, to your event than having such a professional,
Mm-hmm.
a real alive professional, on your program. So I want y'all to make sure that you reach out to Rose Petals. All right, here are her handles. They're right here on the screen. Okay. And you can always reach out to me because I am the great connector, and I would be more than happy to connect everyone with you. So stay right there, Rosa. I just want to highlight a few other things that I have going on here. Let me find my banners here. All right. This is going to come up over us, but this is important. I need your assistance, folks. I need your assistance. We are in the midst of our Fill the Drum fundraiser. We are raising funds so that we can send all natural, non-toxic sanitary napkins, my jewel product, to the ladies of the AAYLF, the American and African Youth Leadership Foundation. We are raising funds. If you go to the website, I'm going to put it also in the group as well. You will be able to make a contribution. And not only do the proceeds go to the girls, but you have the option of also helping to fill the drum with the pads so that they can be saved from, child marriages, be have an opportunity to continue their education as well. So, make sure that, it's going to be on my page as well. We're ramping up. I'm also going to put up a fundraiser. Um, a Facebook fundraiser as well, where you'll be able to contribute, and we'll also, send those funds to such a worthy cause. So that is all for today's Talks with Tanya. I just want to thank my guest, Rosa Rose Petals, for sharing with us today.
Thank
Um,
you so
and
much, Tanya.
yes, oh my goodness, this has been wonderful, absolutely wonderful. Everyone, remember, I am coming before you tomorrow evening at 8 p.m. Talks with Tanya. Tanya is going to be talking about some stuff tomorrow. Now, I'm really going to be talking about how to, reset, and get ready to re-enter kind of this new phase as we begin this transition, back into society. There's some things that are important for us to do. So I'm going to be chatting with y'all tomorrow on that. If anyone is interested in being a guest on Talks with Tanya, all you need to do is go to Tanya Inspires to my Facebook page, or Tanya Inspires on Instagram, and just drop me a line on the Facebook page. You can go ahead and you can schedule yourself a discovery call, and I'll be glad to chat with you and see how we can work out you coming on to the show. It has been a pleasure. To my audience, thank you so much for your love and support. Again, Rosa, thank you. And
Thank you, Tanya.
everyone, stay inspired. Take care now. Bye.